Magandang araw sa inyo! Today, we will be painting landscapes using acrylics and acrylic techniques such as dry brush blending. So I hope you guys are ready. Let's have fun! Narito ang mga kailangan natin ngayong araw. Paintbrush, acrylic paints. You can use tubes or anything na meron kayo. Masking tape for the borders of the paper. Siyempre, a thick paper or cardboard if you don't have any paper like this. A mixing palette or a plastic sheet para madaling itapon. Kahit plato, okay na. Kailangan din natin ng water bucket or tabo or anything that you have na pwede nating lagyan ng tubig para malinis yung brush. At syempre, working space kung saan kayo pwedeng magpinta o medyo magkalat ng konti. Ready na ba? Using your masking tape, have your paper tape in a rigid and flat surface area para hindi magalaw ang inyong paper kapag tayo ay nagpipinta. Ihanda ang inyong source photo bago tayo mag-umpisa. Make sure na isa itong landscape at merong mga misty elements or soft elements gaya nito. Pwedeng kahit ano, basta isa itong landscape. Suriing mainam ang subject at ilagay ang mga pintura sa mixing palette. Make sure na medyo magkakalayo ang pintura para hindi sila magkahawa-hawa or mag-mix together kapag tayo ay nagpipinta na.
We will start the painting by sketching the general shapes na makikita natin dun sa landscape. So using a number 2 Mongol pencil or any light colored pencil maybe. So kahit hindi saktong-sakto yung shapes, basta makuha nyo kung ano yung kanyang general shape, okay na yun. Yung dimensions and general shape of each mountains or any elements na nandun sa inyong painting. Make sure that you shade the dark areas na dapat ay makitang dark doon sa painting, so that you have your marks on where to put these dark areas and where to put the highlights as well. If you feel like erasing some parts, you may do so. Just make sure that you wipe away all those excess rubbers. Then we will draw the clouds. Just the impression of it. Basta makuha natin yung general shape. Okay na. You may add in your personal style to your landscape. Okay, if you want to add something, you may do so. Drawing natin yung maliit na village dito sa gilid, mga puno, and yung fog as well. Again, you may choose any landscapes that you want to draw. Pwedeng sunset, pwedeng fields, whatever that you want to portray in your painting, as long as it's a scenery from nature or landscape like this one. Makita yung mountain ranges and etc. Make sure that your sketch is light so that hindi magkaroon ng dents yung ating paper. Okay, we can start with the background. So I won't be wetting my brush too much. I'll just take a fast dip, then wipe it in a cloth. Make sure that your brush is dry because we will be using the dry brush blending technique. Okay, sir, paano po yung dry brush blending technique? Let's take a closer look. Wipe some of it. Now, with dry brush blending technique, we will directly get the paint from our mixing palette. At this case, we will be using blue and mix it with some white over here to get the color that we want to see in our landscape. Make sure that you get the right color based from your subject. Let me try this blue, because the first blue paint that we use is not that matched to our subject. I think this is better. Okay, let's add some white. Okay, now this is the dry brush technique. Without any water on the paper or the brush, we will damp the paint on the paper like that. Let's start with the saturated parts first. Using this blue, develop the colors. Now notice the effect that it gives. Let's take a look. And right there. Now let's proceed with the painting. Now notice the subject's gradation. Sorry for that. Notice that the blue transitions to a lighter shade of blue, which is mostly white. So we will try to achieve that part. Let's replace our brush. Make sure that it's dry. Wash it. Then wipe it on a cloth. Wash it first. See the residue or from the previous painting that I did. So make sure na malinis ang brush. Dapat ay wala siyang ibang pigments para hindi madumihan ang ating painting. Okay, I think we're good to go. Okay, let's dab some white paint in the blue that we will use for our sky. Okay, more white. Let's skip the clouds for now. Some white. Notice that I'm leaving out the clouds. We will do something with that pagkatuyo ng ating layers. Okay, why do we use acrylic for this session? Now acrylic is a paint that dries easily, okay? Different from oil, which has natural binders, acrylic has synthetic plastic binders that makes it easier to dry up. Okay, so mas mabilis siyang mag-dry kaysa sa traditional na oil paints na meron tayo. Notice that the colors, the white and blue color, blends easily kahit wala tayong ginagamit na color. Be careful lang sa mga residue na paint because it will easily get mixed with your other pigments when your brush is not thoroughly cleaned, just like some of these instance. So we will try to avoid that, okay, by washing your brush thoroughly Okay, we will follow the gradation from saturated blue to light white, okay? So I'm using mostly white dito sa baba, and I'm just dabbing and blending using the dry brush technique. Make sure that we get the values right, yung mga dark areas or the vivid blue areas ay dapat ganoon ang kulay gaya doon sa ating subject. Kung hindi man magaya ang subject, it's alright. Mas mainam lang na medyo nandun yung kanyang value and gradation. Okay? O yung transition between the colors. Just like what you see on the sky. Okay. Now, yung outline ng ating clouds, medyo i-dark natin ng kaunti yung kanyang. But not totally outline. We will blur out the outline that we made by dabbing color on it. Dahil sa dry brush technique, mas maganda kung i-apply natin yung tinatawag na sfumato. It is an Italian technique where outlines are not seen, but are blurred out para mas realistic ang dating ng painting. This technique is also used in paintings such as Mona Lisa. O diba? Now that the acrylic is drying up, we need to work ng medyo mas mabilis para hindi mamanipulate pa natin yung mga nilagay nating kulay bago siya matuyo ng tuluyan. So we dab and dab because when acrylic dries up, it will be harder for us to manipulate the parts that are already dried up. However, one technique that you can do if you want to retouch a part, when an acrylic is medyo tuyo na, you can use water ng konti to reactivate the part. However, we are trying to avoid that in this particular painting because the dry brush technique will be invalidated. Mawawala yung effect na gusto nating makita, which is the blurring of the outline or sfumato. Make sure that when you're washing your brush, i-dry nyo uli siya from time to time. Now, in order to make the clouds look somewhat realistic. We will put a darker shade of blue relative to its position. So, medyo dark ng kaunti dun sa ilalim niya. Okay? So, yung mga undersides. Yan. But, make sure you blur it out. Okay? Para hindi outlined ang look ng ating painting. Now, don't worry if your paint overlaps with one another. That's fine. Notice that I'm using a lot of white to blend out the elements that we are supposed to see. Okay. Now we will use white. Let's add a hint of yellow dun sa white natin para medyo lumabas yung ating clouds. Not too much, just some yellow from spots to spots. Then add in white. Okay. Then we blur out that white. Add more. Blur that out. Let's add in a bit of blue para ma-contour yung shape ng ating clouds. Konti lang. More on white pa din. Because we don't want too much blue on our clouds. Again, keyword, blur out outlines. Medyo nabubuo na natin yung form. Now, remember that art takes time, okay? But now, since we're doing it ng medyo mabilis, hindi ganun ka-perfect yung ating artwork. Pero it's better, no? Than what we do kapag tayo lang. It's better when we do it with someone else talaga. Like your classmates today. Diba? And when you're also applying proper techniques or new techniques, art is better when you experiment on it with techniques, when you learn new styles of art. Pero di ba pag mas marami kayong time and develop nyo yung skills nyo, we can learn so many things pa sa art if we are given the right amount of time. Take note that colors should be near to each other in order to achieve the blurring that we want to see. I think that's it. Let's clean the lines. Okay, now we have the sky. We're done with our sky. Some touches here and there. Then we can proceed with our mountains, di ba? Okay, let's proceed to the mountain ranges. Now, kung mapapansin nyo dun sa subject natin, hindi siya masyadong green yung mountain. It's more on, hindi siya masyadong brown rather, it's more on white na medyo grayish at medyo green. Okay, so what we will do is we will try to mix blue and brown together, then add some white. Then we'll try to capture the color. Yan. So we will create a bluish gray color na medyo may pagka-brown. Now we will now paint on that part. Then, medyo may part na light brown. Haluan uli natin ng blue. Ayan, para makuha natin yung highlights. dito sa part na ito. Haluan natin ng konti pang white para medyo mag-lighten. Dahil sa effect na malayo siya, medyo nagla-lighten na siya dahil parang may nakapatong na clouds. Let's mix some colors to catch up with the color nung reference natin. Kasi dapat pareho. Or kahit paano ay gaya ng kaunti. Now, when you're painting your subject, kahit hindi siya kamukhang kamukha, okay lang. Okay lang na hindi siya kamukhang kamukha. Don't get frustrated. Making mistakes ay part ng learning process. So, when you don't do any mistakes, you're not learning at all. So, it's okay lang na we create happy accidents, as we call it in art, when you're painting. So, kahit hindi talaga siya perfect, okay lang. At least we learn something new while doing it, right? Let's use some of this. This one. Notice that I'm still using dry brush technique para hindi masyadong outline yung dating ng ating artwork. I will blend dito. Still blend the colors from the background para hindi gaanong outline ng dating ng ating